Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, an Addison Township girl is killed by a reckless driver, and 2 Oxford men are arrested for attempted murder.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A 25-year-old Addison Township resident, Marissa Hawk, was killed instantly in a head-on vehicle collision in Addison Township. The young woman was coming home from work when she was hit head-on by a pickup truck driven by a 39-year-old Romeo man. Witnesses say that the man hit Marissa after passing several other cars in a no-passing zone. The man remains in critical condition, and the investigation is ongoing.
2 Oxford men are facing charges of 2 counts each of attempted murder and 2 counts of using a firearm in the act of a felony. According to police, after leaving a local gas station, the 17-year-old man and 18-year-old Trevor Bryant began following 2 Oxford men. Bryant was the driver, and the 17-year-old was the apparent shooter who fired several bullets into the victim's car. The bullets knocked out the rear window and hit both the brake line and the tire. The victims say they have no idea why the pair were shooting at them. Police discovered the .45 caliber pistol used in the shooting was one stolen from an Oxford resident only a few days earlier. For attempted murder, the 17-year-old was denied bond. If convicted, he would spend life in prison. Bryant was arraigned on charges of carrying a concealed weapon, a 5-year felony, and he was released on a $25,000 personal bond.
A Halloween night fire in the Paint Creek Village subdivision caused more than $160,000 in damage to a home, but no one was injured, according to Oxford Fire Chief Pete Schultz. According to reports, a female resident was in bed when she smelled smoke. She and her 2 dogs left the home and called the fire department. According to the chief, when firefighters arrived at the Augusta Boulevard address, smoke was billowing from all of the windows, but they knocked down the fire within an hour. Schultz said the fire appears to have started in the basement and did an estimated $160,000 in damage.
Very little support was given by Oxford Village residents on a proposed 4-story mixed-use development eyed to be built on West Burdick Street, where the village offices currently exist. In concept, a proposal would provide affordable apartments for low-income senior citizens and a retail business environment on the lower level of the structure. A town hall meeting which took place at the Emmanuel Congregational Church was packed with concerned residents, while Mickey Drozdy, consultant for the Venture Corporation, the nonprofit developer who wants to build the building, presented the proposal to the public. Residents' concerns ranged from lack of parking spaces dedicated for the proposed residents, to loss of existing community and business parking, and increased traffic in an already heavy traffic area. The developer has agreed to take all comments under advisement. For the complete story, watch the meeting that took place on our website, occtv.org, or at Oxford Community Television YouTube, or read the full article in the November 2nd edition of the Oxford Leader newspaper.
You want to be careful when you use your credit card at McDonald's. An Oxford woman used her card to pay for her meal and soon after received a text from her credit card company that someone had been using her card to purchase items totaling $50. She recalled that during the meal transaction, the young man who waited on her turned his back just for a brief moment and then turned back to return her card and receipt. She reported it to the manager and said he would review the surveillance video and monitor the young man in question. The investigation remains open.
Handgun carriers, please be careful on where and how you store your weapons. This week, another semi-automatic weapon was stolen from an Oxford resident's car. As it turns out, this is the same .45 caliber weapon that was used in the attempted homicide case that we just reported on. The owner of the weapon provided officers with his concealed weapons permit and a description of the .45 caliber pistol with its serial number. That's it for Oxford News this week. If you want to learn more about these stories and others, stop by your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us right here on OCTV Charter Channel 191 or AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up next on OCTV, Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes. Also, catch Oxford School News with John Ochins, and don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kinney.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first and only story, this may have happened to you. You idly browse a pair of shoes online one morning, and for the rest of the week, those shoes follow you across the internet, appearing in advertisements across the websites you visit. But what if those ads could pop up out of your browser and hound you across different devices? This is the power of ultrasound technology, says Vasilios Mavroudis at the University College of London, and it offers a whole new way in for hacking attacks and privacy invasions. He and his colleagues will spell out their concerns at this week's Black Hat Cybersecurity Conference in London. So far, this kind of ultrasound technology has mainly been used as a way for marketers and advertisers to identify and track people exposed to their messages, like a cross-device cookie. High-frequency audio beacons are embedded into TV commercials or browser ads. These sounds, which are inaudible to the human ear, can be picked up by any nearby device that has a microphone and can then activate certain functions on that device. But the technology has many more applications. Some shopping reward apps, such as Shopkick, already use it to let retailers push department or aisle-specific ads and promotions to customers' phones as they shop. It doesn't require any special technology, Mavroudis says. If you're in a supermarket, all you need are regular speakers. But the technology has been identified as a privacy risk. In March, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission wrapped the knuckles of 12 app developers who used ultrasound for cross-device checking or tracking, even when the apps weren't turned on. This means that the apps could collect information about users without their awareness. The software developer providing this code quickly withdrew it, but an FTC spokesman says that the Commission continues to be interested in cross-device tracking. We're continuing to look at ways that it can be achieved, he says. And this is just one of the problems Mavroudis and his colleagues discovered when examining the vulnerabilities of ultrasound-based technologies. One worry is that these programs may not just be picking up an ultrasound. Any app that wants to use ultrasound needs access to the full range of the microphone, says Mavroudis. That means it would be possible, in theory, for the app to spy on your conversation. The ultrasonic audio beacons that these apps pick up can also be imitated. This means that hackers could create fake beacons to send unwanted or malicious messages to your device, like malware. Mavroudis and his team realized that this would be possible when they found evidence of people trying to cheat a shopping rewards app by recording the silent beacons or just downloading recordings from the internet and then playing them to the app to supercharge their reward points. That was when we realized how easy it would be to spoof these things, he says. Mavroudis says that these vulnerabilities do not affect many people yet, as ultrasound apps are still a niche product. But the simplicity of the ultrasound could make it an attractive technology for use in applications across the Internet of Things, says Mumu, a lecturer at the University of Northampton in the UK. As more Internet of Things devices become connected and interlinked, they could overwhelm a home's Wi-Fi channel, and different technologies will need to step in. Ultrasound is a good candidate for pairing home-connected devices that have a speaker and a microphone. For example, Google's Chromecast app uses ultrasound to pair your mobile phone with its streaming dongle. This creates a potential new channel for hacking attacks. Ultrasound can carry a lot of data, says Moo, but if you know what you're doing just by sending a few bytes, you can hack a system and instruct it to do a lot of things. it doesn't always take a lot of data to make something bad happen. Before ultrasound goes mainstream, Mavroudis says that it's time to work out how to regulate it and keep it from being hijacked for malicious purposes. Ultrasound beacons don't have any specs yet, he says. There are no rules about how to build or connect ultrasound beacons, and this kind of gray area is where no one wants to take responsibility. He and his co-authors are agitating for standards similar to those that exist for Bluetooth, but that will take a while. So they developed countermeasures you can use in the meantime. The first is an ultrasound filtering browser extension for Google Chrome that blocks any website-embedded beacons from sounding. The second is a patch for Android devices that means users have to opt in to pick up ultrasound beacons and audible sound separately when they give an app permission to use their microphone. It's going to get worse unless we can fix it, says Mavroudis. Wow. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hi, my name is W. Ripto. I'm a member of the Addison Township Fire Department. I'm a lieutenant here. I've been here for 13 years. Today, we're going to talk about address signs and having your driveway properly marked and making sure that when there's an emergency, we're going to get there quickly and safely to help you with your emergency. Here are some things that we need to keep in mind when you mark your driveway and/or your mailbox. In some situations, you may have to mark both your mailbox and your driveway. In situations where your driveway is across the street from your mailbox, or if you have a shared driveway where multiple houses are on your driveway, or if your driveway splits off into 2 or 3 areas. Wherever it splits, you might want to have an address sign marking what side to go on, whether it's left or right or straight or however you need to do it. It's going to make our job a lot easier to get to you in that state of emergency. A few other things to keep in mind is you can have your address sign vertically or you can have it displayed horizontally. We highly suggest that you mark both sides of your address so that whenever we're coming from the north or the south or the east or the west, we can see that driveway on both sides. In our engines, in our ambulances, we have our map books. And in our map books, we have very detailed oriented pictures showing exactly where the addresses are. But having that marked, your address sign marked or your driveway marked will definitely ease us in finding your address in that state of emergency. Okay. In the map book, we have all of our hydrants marked, we have all of our streets marked, and it makes it a lot easier for us to find. So that's typically the officer's job, sitting in the officer's seat. He grabs the map book and verifies with the driver exactly where we're going. And we have also a blown up section showing real quick and easy how to find your address on one sheet of paper. Instead of flipping through the book, we can go through your section and find exactly where we need to go. Okay, the address signs are $15 a piece. You can call the station at 248-628-5600 and request to have one filled out, or you can come to the station and have one filled out yourself. They're $15 a piece again, and it's definitely a good thing to have for your driveway and for us if we ever need to get there. Thank you very much for your time today. Again, my name is W. Ripto with the Addison Township Fire Department. Thank you and have a good day.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. The Breakfast Club had a meeting over at Oxford High the other day. That's the student group made up of kids and other groups that do a lot to make life better for those in need around town. You may remember the Oxford Gives Back campaign from last year. Well, it's time to start planning for this year. Jacinta Hogan is one of our seniors trying to pull it all together.
Okay, so Oxford Gives Back is a project where we have youth in the community and their families go and do free spring cleanup for anyone who needs it. Last year, we helped over 30 homes. Many of them were seniors. Some of them were affected by cancer and other things that left them unable to do their own yard work. We had over 350 volunteers from the community help out, many of them from Oxford High School, and it was a huge success. So we're declaring it an Oxford tradition and working very hard this year to make it successful again. We have definite influx of interest. We are going to have a lot of sign-ups out throughout the community, and we're expecting around 150 homes and over 1,500 volunteers. So currently we're looking for adults that will be able to be site volunteers, so we need around 150 to 200 of those.
They are hoping for some business support too.
We are currently working on a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, which would give us all access to the businesses in the chamber.
They will certainly be in need of leaf bags, gloves, and lawn tools when the time comes. Teacher Joe Amabile heads up the I'm Third group. He was at the meeting, and we followed up about them.
Yeah, I'm Third got off to a little slow start this year, but we are actually in the next few months, we're going to go to Grace Centers of Hope. We're going to go to the Baldwin Center, and we have a trip to the Flint Food Bank on November 17th. So we have three things coming up before Thanksgiving. It's tough to find time over Thanksgiving because everybody wants to volunteer, all the organizations, but we have a few, we have about 3 or 4 events coming up.
At the end of the meeting, Principal Todd Dunkley inquired about student attitude. One of the kids pointed out a definite improvement in the treatment of underclassmen.
Talked about just like being more accepting, because I know a big thing that the senior class wanted to work on this year was not being like that mean senior class and being like nicer to the freshmen and stuff like that. And I feel like we've really been doing a good job of that this year. I feel like there's been a lot less of like, oh, that's the seniors area. It's been a lot more of just like, it's Oxford's area.
Principal Dunkley related some staff feedback.
The climate is very notably different because of how the students have taken over in a positive fashion. In this is my 28th year as an educator, my 26 years as a principal. That's my first assembly I've ever seen where freshmen weren't bashed in an assembly. That I almost teared up. And then watching the homecoming dance here with 1,300 plus students in a school with 1,800 students and the way you're interacting, that's a principal's dream. I cannot ask for a better staff or student body to work with.
The Oxford Fire Department paid a visit to Clear Lake Elementary the other day, but not to put out a fire. It's part of a special campaign to educate our kids on proper procedure during a fire emergency. Fireman Sarah Racer was the presenter.
Well, we like to kind of get out and show the kids, that the fire department is involved in the community, and we like to give them the message of what to do in the case of an emergency, in case of a fire, that they need to get out of their house, they need to plan meeting spots with their family or whoever they live with. We want to teach them the basics of stop, drop, and roll, and if their clothes catch on fire, get down under the smoke, crawl out. And these kids really, I think, take the message home, and of course we like to show them the fire trucks because the kids always enjoy that, and especially this time of year with trick-or-treating and Halloween, we like to teach them a little Halloween safety, some of the things, do's and don'ts on Halloween night.
It was book fair time at Oxford Elementary. Maureen Kiplinger is the media parapro there. There's even a Halloween table.
Yes, we have a table full of scary books right here. We also have another table with all the bargain deal books. We have a lot of different age group books. It's just a great fun time for the kids.
Now this is kind of a once-a-year thing, isn't it?
No, twice a year.
Oh, twice a year?
In the spring we also have a Scholastic book fair also in the spring, and it's a really reward for the kids at the end of the year to get books for the summer, and it's buy one book, get one book free. And the kids are so excited about that also.
Is this kind of a coordinated thing? Do all the schools have this right about the same time?
Close to the same time. I know Daniel Axford has it over Christmas for the kids for the Santa shop and the parade time.
And the funds go back to the school?
Funds come back to the school. We buy more books for the school library. I
asked Maureen if the internet was affecting their sales.
No, we do this is a fantastic fundraiser. This year it's going to be a little bit harder for our funds because we don't have it during the parent-teacher conferences. So that's going to cut back on some of our sales, but this is a fantastic fundraiser. The kids still like to actually have books in their hands.
That's Maureen Kiplinger over at OES. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.
And we're back with you on Oxford News this week. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Again, sports. And you know, sometimes you have to actually take a look back to see where forward motion might take you. Again, in all fairness, we mostly report varsity sports. An honorable mention this year has to be extended to the Oxford High School junior varsity football team. Why do you say? Well, they beat three powerhouses. They beat Harrison High School 19-6. They beat Southfield A&T 33-8. Big game there. Athens High School 20-7. Well, the varsity might be struggling playing football. Bud Raleigh has to be pleased to see his classmen coming up. Again, congrats to the underclassmen of the JV football team this year. Go Wildcats and all your victories this year. Looking forward to what you're going to do on the varsity field. And jumping out to the court, volleyball, of course, Oxford won its first round of the districts against Waterford Mott. Oxford will move on to play Clarkston in the semifinals and then maybe on to Lake Orion, come out and support the Oxford volleyball team. We congratulate all the efforts this year's volleyball team put in. Again, a lot of great TV here on OCTV. Jumping into the pool, a full sweep of Oxford over fellow OAA Blue division, Hazel Park. Oxford is now 5-1 in the OAA Blue. Again, quite a move for Jackie Rank and that swim and dive team. There will be a brief ceremony for the Oxford seniors, again, during the meet and the diving portion of that contest. Again, congratulations. That program has definitely grown. We go to the soccer field. Oxford ends its season against Lake Orion, giving up 2 goals in the first half, 3 in the second. A loss of 5-0. Oxford overall in their soccer, 6-9-4. And once again, we'd like to mention as they conclude the NASCAR season and the chase, we were able to snag posters for the 2016 class. I'll raise it up here, right here. We have it right there. If you'd like a poster, it's real simple. We have 10 of these. Any racing man or man cave could use this. All you need to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope to our location. Send it to Oxford Community Television Sports Poster, care of Jamie Hughes, 1420 North Lapeer Road, Suite C, Oxford, Michigan, 48371. Again, I do have 10 of these. It's the 2016 class of the NASCAR season. A lot of people excited about that. You can maybe get that matted and put it up in that man cave. A lot of you racing fans out there. Some of you aren't racing fans. Maybe, you know, get it anyway. Just send us a letter. We'll send it right back to you. Okay, check it out. The Oxford website, their sporting website. It's oxfordathletics.org. That's where we get our news. You can get all the information about your Oxford athlete at that website. oxfordathletics.org has schedules, upcoming events, things they need to do if they want to take part in clinics. Again, right at your fingertips. And while you're on the World Wide Web, I encourage you to join our website, occtv.org. Again, a lot of AT&T customers are being enticed to jump ship, and that means you're going to lose our channel. We still want you to catch any of the programs, and the way to do that is go to our website, occtv.org. You can hit the YouTube or the PEG Central tab. You can catch it on your computer, iPad, and some of you tech gurus might be able to even hook it up to your television set. We're there always, occtv.org. Hey, that's going to wrap it in sports. Send in for the poster. We'll see you next week. I'm Jamie Hughes. Take care of yourselves.
Hey Leonard, you're watching OCTV.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, criminals have found an easy workaround for new anti-theft devices in cars. They just wait for drivers to leave the key or fob inside. The number of freebie vehicle thefts in the U.S. climbed 22% in 2015 to 57,096, according to a statement November 1st from the National Insurance Crime Bureau. The group, which is dedicated to preventing industry losses, is seeking to highlight the risk of leaving keys unattended even for a brief stretch as the driver runs for a cup of coffee or warms up the car on a cold morning. The risk can be compounded when people leave personal forms inside, as thieves have used the information to drive to victims' unattended homes and steal more. The group advises motorists to photograph their registration and other paperwork with their mobile phones and not leave such documents in the vehicle. Also, garage door openers shouldn't be left inside. Wow. Well, at Volkswagen, at last it's here. Volkswagen on October 27th revealed the Atlas, a 7-passenger large crossover aimed at family buyers that's been in the works since it was previewed by the Cross Blue concept at the 2013 Detroit Auto Show. After 3 years of falling U.S. sales and a reputation marred by VW's diesel emission scandal, VW and its dealers view the Atlas as the light at the end of a long, dark tunnel. With a U.S.-only name and hefty size, officials say the crossover is proof of the automaker's commitment to success in the U.S. after years of bungled tries amid interference from Germany. For years, VW dealers have ached for a competitive crossover while straining to sell VW's current crossovers, the pricey and diminutive Tiguan compact, I hope I pronounced that right, and the Touareg, a upscale midsize vehicle more at home in the Audi showroom. The Atlas will give VW its first crossover tailored for American buyers when it goes on sale next spring. At more than 198 inches in overall length, the Atlas is the VW Group's largest model based on its MQB scalable platform architecture, also used on the Golf and planned for the next generation Passat midsize and Jetta compact sedans. It's also as long as the Ford Explorer and longer than the Honda Pilot and Toyota Highlander, the Atlas's 3 primary competitors in VW's eyes. The Atlas seats 3 in its second row with 2 outer seats that can slide forward and back independently of the middle seat. A 238 horsepower turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine powers entry-level Atlas models, while an optional 3.6-liter VR6 puts out 280 horsepower. Both engines are combined with an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission. A 4-motion all-wheel drive system is optional on V6 models, while 4-cylinder Atlases only get front-wheel drive. Apple CarPlay, that is, Android Auto, and MirrorLink are standard. Available options include VW's CarNet connectivity system and Volkswagen's Digital Cockpit, a customizable digital instrument cluster based on the same technology used by luxury sibling Audi. Also available are a suite of driver assist features, including automatic emergency braking, active lane assist, forward collision warning, and adaptive cruise control. On the recall front, BMW is recalling over 154,000 vehicles registered in the U.S. and Canada for a fuel pump problem that could cause stalling, according to a filing with the U.S. safety regulators and BMW. BMW told regulators that no injuries have been reported. Since 2014, the German-based company has conducted safety recall campaigns in China, Japan, and South Korea for the same issue, according to a filing posted on October 28th by the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The recalled vehicles cross many model lines. Of the vehicles recalled in North America, 88% are registered in the United States. BMW will notify owners and dealers to replace the fuel pump module free of charge beginning in early December, and BMWs can call a BMW customer service contact for details. And still on the recall front, Subaru of America will recall about 100,000 vehicles equipped with turbocharged engines over an increased risk of fire. A faulty relay controlling the secondary air injection pump in the turbocharged vehicles could fail and cause the unit to overheat and melt, potentially leading to a fire, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website. Subaru has received at least 2 reports of fires related to the issue, according to a filing with NHTSA. The recall covers over 100,000 units of the legacy midsize sedan and Outback crossover from model years 2007 to 2009, as well as the 2009 to 2013 Forester crossover and 2008 to 2014 Impreza Compact. Only models with turbocharged engines are affected. Dealers will replace the secondary air injection pump relay on the affected vehicles. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.